Welcome, everyone. Today, we're digging into one of the biggest debates every gardener faces, terracotta versus plastic. Now, it might seem like a simple choice, but the science behind which pot you pick can literally mean life or death for your plant. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with a really fundamental question here. Is your plant pot just, a simple container for dirt? Or is it something more, like a critical piece of life support? Because how you answer that really changes how you should choose one. I like to think of this as a tale of two very different pots, each with its own personality. On one side, you have terracotta, the earthy, breathable traditionalist. And on the other, you have plastic, the sleek, efficient modernist that's all about control. These aren't just containers, they're two totally different philosophies on how to care for a plant. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to dive into the science that makes these pots so different. Then we'll look at how that science affects everything in the real world, from your watering routine to your plant's health. We'll even tackle durability and the environmental impact, all leading to a simple guide to help you pick the perfect pot for you. All right, so we've met our two contenders. And remember, this isn't just a choice between clay and plastic. It's really a choice between two different approaches: the controlled efficiency of a closed system versus the natural resilience of a system that can breathe. This whole debate, terracotta versus plastic, it really boils down to one single super important scientific principle. If you get this one idea, everything else just clicks into place. It's the key that unlocks this whole thing. And that word is porosity. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. It just means something is full of tiny little holes that let air and water pass right through. Terracotta is porous. It can breathe. Plastic? Not so much. It's a solid wall. And that one difference, that is the secret sauce to this whole thing. So check this out. This is what makes terracotta so special. It's not just sitting there holding your plant. It's actively working for you. It acts kind of like a sponge. When the soil is too wet, the pot's walls literally pull or wick that extra water away from the roots. This isn't just some cool party trick. It's a total game changer for preventing root rot. Okay, so we've talked about the science, but what does this porosity stuff actually mean for your plants day to day? Well, it turns out it has a massive impact on that delicate balance of water, air, and roots inside the pot. And that affects pretty much everything. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. The big takeaway here is you've got to match the pot to the plant. Plants like cacti or succulents that absolutely hate having wet feet, they thrive in terracotta because it stays nice and dry. But then you've got your moisture lovers, like ferns or mint. They do way better in plastic, which keeps things consistently damp for them. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the right pot can actually save your plants from you. If you're someone who tends to overwater, terracotta is your best friend. It's super forgiving because it helps dry the soil out. But if you're a bit forgetful with the watering can, plastic can be an absolute lifesaver. But wait, it's not just about water. That same evaporation process that dries out the soil in a terracotta pot, it also creates this amazing cooling effect, like a natural air conditioner for the roots. A dark plastic pot in the sun, though, oh man, it can turn into a little black oven and literally cook your plant's roots. No joke. All right, so which pot is tougher? Who wins in a fight? Well, it's not quite that simple. It turns out each of them has its own Achilles heel, its own secret weakness that can bring it down. Here's the deal. A terracotta pot could literally outlive you, as long as you don't drop it. It's strong, but it's brittle. A plastic pot, on the other hand, you can toss it around and it'll be fine, but leave it out in the sun year after year and eventually the UV rays will just make it crumble into little pieces. And hey, for anyone listening from a colder climate, this one's for you. This is terracotta's biggest weakness. That same porosity that's so great for roots becomes a liability. Water seeps into the clay, it freezes, it expands, and crack. The pot can just shatter completely. Okay, so we've talked about physical durability, but there are two other massive factors we have to consider: the cost to your wallet and the cost to our planet. Look, let's be real, plastic is way cheaper, and you can get it in pretty much any color or shape imaginable. But terracotta, well, it has that timeless, natural, rustic look that a lot of people just really love, even if it costs a bit more upfront. But that cheap price tag on plastic pots, it comes with a pretty heavy environmental cost. The sheer number of them being produced has led to what one expert calls a substantial avalanche of horticultural plastic waste. An avalanche. That's a pretty powerful image, right? And you might be thinking, well, can't we just recycle them? And the sad reality is, not really. for a few key reasons. First, they're usually caked in dirt, which messes up the recycling machines. Second, a lot of them are black, and the automatic scanners at recycling plants literally can't see black plastic. And finally, the economics just aren't there. The recycled material is low quality and not worth much.
Okay, so after all of that, how on earth do you actually pick the right pot? Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through a super simple 3-question framework to get it right every single time.
Question number 1, and this is the most important. What does your plant want? You have to start there. Is it a desert plant that will literally rot if its roots are too wet? Or is it a tropical fern that needs constant moisture to be happy? Let the plant tell you what it needs. All right, question number 2, where do you live? Think about your climate. That terracotta pot that works so well in a cool, damp place might need watering 3 times a day in a hot, dry climate. You have to adjust your strategy based on your environment. And last but not least, question number 3. Be honest with yourself. What kind of plant parent are you? Do you have a heavy hand with the watering can? Do you just love to water? Go for terracotta. Are you a little more forgetful? Plastic might just be your plant's best friend. It's about finding a pot that protects your plants from your own tendencies. So ultimately, it all comes down to this. When you're picking out your next pot, you're not just choosing between clay and plastic. You're making a choice between 2 philosophies. Are you optimizing for efficiency and control? Or are you embracing the natural, forgiving resilience of a pot that breathes? The right answer isn't just about what's best for the plant. It's about finding the perfect match for your plant, your climate, and for you.